So guys, today's flight's going to be in the Bf109G-2. Apparently this is the best boom and zoom fighter plane in the game. On account of it climbs very well. One bad thing though is that my track IR doesn't seem to function very well with the G2, and it doesn't function sufficiently with the F2 in multiplayer. Not at all in single player, but in multiplayer I'm having that issue. You were just playing Silent Hunter 4 U-boat missions. Cool. Seems like a pretty challenging game to get the hang of, from what I've seen on YouTube videos, what with setting up the torpedoes correctly for a strike on moving ships and that sort of thing. I believe this plane can run at 100% power for a good period of time, at least 10 minutes I would say. I'm going to climb a bit. Better turn the lights off. This is the Kuban map. This is where all the oil is. This is 1943. Did you see that? I had an LA5 on my tail. On my tail. I might get shot down in the first 20 seconds. It looks like it. Damn it. Guys, what I'm going to do is crash out and then I'll have one more go only. Let's call that a warm-up. G'day Cloaker, welcome to the stream. Pretty close to the airfield. Alright, let's go again. One last time. One more flight only. Manual targeting is a challenge sometimes. I think the subs were pretty potent weapons until sonar got good, and then they were screwed. Alright, so I got to take off successfully, then I got to be careful of any enemies near the field. I might just adjust my track IR here. The best, really not the best. I'll have to do though, I think. Kicking off with 100% fuel, gun set to 180 meters. I think this plane has the small caliber machine guns, the MG-17s, rifle caliber, and then MG-141-20s, I think, which is the 20mm cannon. Payback time. Yeah, if I can find that LA5. He's probably still hanging around the airfield somewhere. Better gain altitude this time. I was lucky that I saw him on my 6. It was purely coincidence that I caught him. And 80 meters, isn't it a bit close? Nah. It's about right. G'day, skids. Oh yeah, I'm fine. I just crashed though. Well, I got shot down by an LA5, so it's payback time, if I can find him. Where's the airfield? Okay, so there's the airfield. This is around about where I got shot down. What's that? That's a plane, isn't it? Or it's the shadow of a plane. Let's get a bit closer and have a look. Is there a plane above that shadow? And where is the shadow? It's just disappeared. Got a feeling the LA5 might still be in the vicinity. I saw that shadow. It was probably a departing Axis aircraft. But let's just see what we can see. This is one flight only, guys, so as soon as this flight finishes, that's it, be it 40 minutes or be it 3 minutes. Madly looking around to see if I can find any aircraft in this area. Might go a little bit closer to the airfield, just until I've sussed out what's what. Apparently this plane, the G2, is the best climber. Seems to climb pretty well. Most of the cloud base. The other question is, how long can I operate at 100% power for? I'm going to say it's at least 10 minutes from memory and experience. Now, where's that pesky LA5? Let's maybe tone the power down. Got the airfield down there, some lights. Guys see anything? It can be hard to spot targets in the Kubar map because of this green agricultural land. The plains kind of disappear into it, a bit like the forest in the Stalingrad map. Now I'm well above the cloud base. Bringing it down to continuous mode, 60%. What do we have? What do we have? Yeah, the distance depends on a number of factors. Whether you're going to be turn fighting, whether you've got guns in the wings or guns on the longitudinal axis. This plane's got them on the latter, so you don't really need to converge them really aggressively. If I'm flying a Spitfire, I'll go for the minimum distance for convergence, like 150 yards or 100 meters, that sort of thing. I think the minimum sight distance for the Spitfire is 150 yards and the minimum convergence is 100 meters. I'll always take that so that I can concentrate fire on the target directly in front of me. I can also hit it out to 200 meters. Whereas with this one, it's less important, it's more trajectory that you're looking at. So you'll hit something that's at your level 180 meters away. Any more than that, and I like to just compensate for the trajectory myself by angling the nose up proportionally. Basic sort of windage and elevation kind of stuff. Now, where's that LA5? They're out there somewhere. I'm going to look at the map and I'm going to look at what's my next leg, what's my next destination. Looks like by default I'm heading to the factory. Maybe that's where I'll go. Don't see why not. So we've got some pretty long distances to cover, but we're pretty high, which means we'll have a higher ground speed and we'll get there relatively quickly. After the factory, assuming I survive, I'm going to head to both of the strong points. It's a big sky, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of places to scan, there's a lot of places to look. And the planes, be they Axis or Allied, they're just specks, tiny little specks. Pretty challenging. People were talking on the forums about what they'd like to see next in IL-2. Albin Soberg, welcome. And someone was saying that they'd like to see a night fighter equipped with a radar. And gee, I hadn't thought of that, but I think that's a pretty good idea. Like to have an aircraft like a night fighter that's equipped with a functional radar. That would be pretty amazing. One other suggestion, which I've thought of myself as well, which I agree with, is the Storch. It would be really good to have the Storch in this game, don't you think? The Storch, kind of a staple, a mainstay, a plane that was, what do you call it, omnipresent. Like it was basically, it was like a Swiss Army knife or something. Like it was a universally present aircraft across the front lines, across the war, from reconnaissance to VIP transport maybe, or staff transport, you name it. Certainly a short takeoff and landing aircraft. I think it stalled at something like 36 kilometres an hour, just insane. So I'd like to see the Storch, that'd be good. Whatever they come out with, it's going to be good. And goes without saying, I'd like to see the Bf109G in Bodenplatte. Check the map. And I've flown right past the factory. Let's double back. Gee, it's going to be hard to spot anything on this terrain. Ideal terrain for camouflage. Skids, the Storch could be taken apart in minutes and put on a truck. Is that right? That's pretty cool. I think the Willis Jeep had the same concept. Just off to the 2 or 3 o'clock. Where is it? Is that it? That's it there. That's our factory. Some of it's been destroyed already. You guys see any aircraft? Not losing too much altitude. So this plane, you can turn fight in it, but apparently it's primarily a boom and zoomer on account of its excellent climb. Apparently it has the best climb in the game, at least in these earlier planes, not including things like the K4 and the P47, but in terms of planes of its vintage, and compared to the planes that it's going up against in Kuban, the best rate of climb. Now, I need a bomber or something, or a yak. But if it's a yak, I'd better be bloody careful because they're deadly. Not going to try and turn fight a yak. Apparently, you got enough speed in the 109 to disengage at will. Apparently, I've found that that's kind of true, but often enough, fleetingly, the yaks can catch it if they dedicate themselves to it in the first minute before they overheat. Storch was an early version of the Draco. I don't know the Draco. But yeah, I'm really fond of the Storch. Great looking plane, great performance, great name. Pretty powerful too. I think it had a 300 horsepower engine. Now, where's that factory? Is that it? Yeah, that's got to be it. Just need something to shoot now. In terms of where to go next, I mean, so far it's been heavily focused on the war between Nazi Germany and Soviet Union on the Eastern Front, which is kind of your brutal total war. But of course there's plenty of other theatres of operation, as well as the air war over Europe. I'd like to see Bodenplatte fully developed pretty much first of all, as I said, including things like the B-17 and things like the jets that were available towards the end of the war as well. The HE, was it 163 or 162? Basically all of the jets and the rockets that were developed, or that were in development. I'd like to see them in Bodenplatte. I think IL-2 1946 had a really good kind of a concept in that it delved a bit into what if fantasy in terms of all of those planes that were prototypes or that were on the blueprint drawing board but were never actually built, or if they were built they were never actually flown. Like particularly I'm thinking of the Horton wings and things like that. All of those kind of planes were actually included as flyable planes in 1946, which is a great concept. Imagine that. Alright, either I'm here at the wrong time or whatever, but there's nothing much going on at this factory. Let's go to the strong point. Pretty much left the farmland behind us, and now we're heading into the mountainous area. And the mountains are covered in forest. So unless someone's doing some shooting down there, it can be extremely difficult to spot any aircraft. On our way to the Axis strong point. There. Kayak, doesn't it? I have no idea though, but bloody hell. I think he's baiting me. think he's a yak. I think I'm probably just going to blast him. Alright, that was a yak. Did that finish him? Sure did. Good job, Frog! Ha ha ha! I don't know what happened there. He was at full power because he had a soot trail, like an exhaust trail, so he was at full power. That's what that signifies. But he didn't see me, it seems. He was flying straight and level. So he kind of made my job easy. Let's stay at full power. Let's keep climbing. Let's sort of keep moving. It was only pure coincidence that I saw him. Wasn't really looking anywhere. It was that full power exhaust trail that I kind of caught a glimpse of at first. That's interesting. I saw the exhaust trail sort of at the same time as I saw the plane, both equally visually significant. And he was pretty high up too, wasn't he? He sort of came up to my level. The only real difficulty there was in accurately identifying the aircraft before I opened fire. I didn't want to shoot down a Messerschmitt or something by mistake. And of course you don't want to waste your opportunity if it is a yak, but you don't shoot. It's difficult. I could kind of make out the shape with the radiator and those kind of pointy wings, but yeah. Definitely not getting home with that seized propeller. I hit him a few times with the cannon. So I'm in between the strong point and the factory. I'll keep on heading down to the strong point, I think, and just see what's cooking down there. And actually I think I made a very small, it's not a mistake, but it's not preferable. When I'd shot him and then I did something like got some distance and then came back on him, at some point I turned around to go and commence chasing him, and I turned to the right, and this plane I believe rolls better to the left, so I could have turned quicker if I'd rolled to the left instead of to the right. I think all of these kind of small things, all of the aces knew about them. And that's what probably gives it, accumulatively, that sort of stuff gives an edge in combat, I would say. It's better to the right, is it? Yeah, this is something that I'll have to figure out at some point. And the other thing was that it seems people say that the 109 is relatively faster at high altitude than the yak, and vice versa on the deck. And of course this was a pretty high altitude shoot down, so that kind of bears that out. So according to that, we're right over the strong point. I can't even see it, but the map says it's down there. Use speed again. Don't want to cook the engine. Alright, so what I might do now is do another circuit here and then head on to the Allied strong point. It was really a coincidence that I saw that plane. Practically no skill involved on my part. Just got lucky. Thing is, there could be bombers down there and I wouldn't even know it. Maybe I should dive on the strong point before I take off. Lose too much altitude, but I want to eyeball it visually. Might be difficult though with those clouds in the way. That's it there. That's got to be it. You can see the bunkers. Any IL-2s down there? Can't see any. What was that? I think it was just a reflection on the window. What's my speed? 550, it's not too far. Alright, so we're right over the strong point. I'm eyeballing it. I'm looking out for any IL-2s that might be swooping low, or PE-2s. PE-2s are a hassle because their gunners just get you. The only way you can really survive an attack on a PE-2 is to go in fast and exit fast. Alright, so here we are at the cloud base. Ah! What do we got? 109. It's 109. What's he up to? Well, that's the other thing. I haven't even looked at the altimeter. What is the altitude? What is the altitude of the cloud base? What are we at? I'm reading that as 4,300 just going through. That we're at now. So the clouds must be at about 10,000 feet. Pretty standard. Oh yeah, there's definitely a value to teamwork, that's for sure. So if you've got a bogey on your tail that you can't shake, if you're flying with teammates or at least with aircraft that are on your side, they can help you out and vice versa. Sometimes they'll save your bacon. It's happened to me a number of times. Especially the ones that are situationally aware and they know what's going on around them. In a combat, it's easy to target fixate and lose situational awareness of everything else that's going on. It's kind of a skill that I guess football players and soccer players and everything have. They can focus on the ball and they can also focus on what's going on 100 metres away at the other end of the field and things like that. So climbing well clear of the cloud base again. So that was a 109. And I think I'll just look at the map and head to the Allied fortification. Allied strong point rather. It has been a bit of a challenge. I can't actually readily see through the crosshair. There is some kind of an issue there, but that's okay. And it's only in multiplayer, it's not in single player. Multiplayer's been pretty cool though. It's amazing. To me it seems to be very close to the real thing. This is about as close as you're ever going to get, I think, to a real experience of combat, air combat in World War II. Multiplayer. It's pretty amazing. The map. Be there in about a minute, I think. This one may be heavily defended. Oh, for the bombers, yeah, that's right. If I can see down past the cloud, then it's all good, because I'll be able to see them. As soon as they're moving, I can see the movement. Let's see if we can spot the position. Should be ahead and on the left. That looks like it there. It's been fairly extensively bomb damaged, but it still exists. I wouldn't be surprised if there's any. There might be a few yaks somewhere around the cloud base, hovering around looking for targets. I have to keep reminding myself this is a G2, not a 4, which means that I can go 100% power. In a 4, you can go 100% power, but only for about 30 seconds before you cook the engine. This one, it's no problem for 10-20 minutes. Off with 100% fuel. What do we got now? Looks like it's about half full. What's that? What's that? Looks like the AAA is shooting at a bomber. Pretty hard to see. I'm just barely. I don't even know if I glimpse something. I know there's something down there, but I'm going to interpret that as AAA shooting at an Axis aircraft. Oh, look at that. Direct hit. Now what I'd be looking for is aircraft to aircraft shooting, and that's what I'll dive on, because I'll know that there's a contact. +600 k's an hour, it's pretty fast. I think that's another AAA shooting at an Axis. I think that was a reasonably good hit with the bomb there. Definitely aircraft down there, but I can't see anything. If I get too close to the strong point, because it's an allied strong point and I'm in an Axis aircraft, quite possibly it's going to start shooting at me. We'll soon know if we get any black puffs of smoke in the vicinity. if the engine just inexplicably explodes. Try and avoid that. There's the coast over there. We're pretty close to the Allied airfields, actually. Relatively speaking. When I say pretty close, I mean sort of halfway to Axis, halfway to, we're on the border basically, on the front. Might have to, I don't know, might have to consider diving down and having a look at what's going on down there. You guys see that? Got someone on my tail. Looks like a MiG-3. I might try and actually disengage, or at least get some distance, and then once he's out of the way, I'll turn around and try and get him. There we go there. Yeah, I reckon that's a MiG-3. Should be able to disengage in theory. In theory, mind you. Full power, yes. If not, it's going to be a pretty inglorious ending if he gets close enough. Heading back to my line. Oh no, he's taking a shot. This might not be good. Might not be good. It's pretty far away though. I think he's taking a shot because he knows that I'm getting away. That's how I'm going to interpret that. Let's hope that's how it is. Be nerve-wracking stuff. If and when I get clear, I'll turn around on him and blast him. I'd like to be able to see where he is. Got a bit of smoke there. I'd like to be able to see where he is and Yeah, I'd like to be able to track him, and so far I've lost him. Looks like I've shaken him, but I've got some damage, and I can't see him, so we're still not out of the woods yet. Might start a... Well, was that another shot? I was going to say I might start a bit of a climb. Yeah, there he is, there he is. Alright, now... Ah, shit, I lost him. Where is he? He was there a minute ago. Ain't good, ain't good. Might have to dive to be able to see him, even then. Okay, okay, what do we got here? This is interesting. What was that? What was that? Is he hidden in the mountains? What is going on? Got to kind of flush him out. Retain energy. I should just get the heck out of here. Stuff it. I'll head back towards the strong point. You'll note I've lost most of my altitude though, that's the thing. Mostly in just trying to track that target, unless it's on the horizon. It's so easy to lose it. So this should be a good climb of this plane. Let's put it to the test. There's a plane, there's a plane. Miles away though, miles away. I'll do a 180, see if I can sneak up on it. Don't even know if it's Axis or what, but... There. Up we go. Straight bloody up. It's a yak. Not for long. And another plane. That looked like an LA-5. I'm going to blast this yak and hightail it. Hits, good hit. Alright, I'm out here because there was an LA-5 in the vicinity. 1.5, basically 2 kills, that'll do me for today. It's important to land. Okay, let's go. Well, it might have been another 109. Actually, it might have been an LA-5 and then there's a 109. Suddenly we've got a big fight going on. What's that? That's it. That's a 109, that's a 109. That's a yak. That's a 109. And that's a 109. Alright, good times. Alright, they've finished that one off. Suddenly I've got a squadron of 109s on my side. And there's a 110. The Eagles have arrived. Saved by the Eagles. So Lord of the Rings reference. It's kind of like that though. I was in mortal danger and then that. Look at these guys. No problemo. Well, that was pretty cool, eh? Check my fuel. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's on the last quarter. Let's head back to base. What is that? Oh shit, the engine. Seem to be making a bad noise. Really, oh no, the engine, damn it. The engine's gonna go. Keep it at continuous and hope for the best. I think the engine's gonna go in less than a minute. Got fuel, it's just I ran it at full power for too long. I'll survive, but don't know if I'll get back to over the front line. Get halfway to the front line. Pretty exposed here, gliding down like this. but still there's a ton of Axis aircraft behind. That was a pretty good result. Only thing, I mean, I got hit in that wing. I don't think I got hit in the engine on that previous thing there. The only thing I could have done there was operate at continuous mode for a higher percentage of the flight. Kyle Taylor, you can make it back. We'll see, we'll see. Looks like if I can get over, I don't think I'll get over that ridge. Be able to land on this side of it. Some green down there. Might actually have to bail out considering high chance of explosion crashing into this forest. I'm going to put the flaps down at least. We're going to have a sore back, but survived. Oh well, the front line's not too far away. Just a hop, skip and a jump. That is going to do it for this flight, guys. So I'm going to call that 2 kills. Yeah, pretty happy with that. It definitely should have operated at a lower engine tempo for more of the flight, and then I would have had enough longevity to make it back to base. I really thought I was going to make it back to base then. And my diagnosis of the engine failing, I don't think it was from getting hit, because that was just in that wing. I reckon it was just from operating at or close to 100% power for a bit too long. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe it's 10 minutes in total that you can operate at 100%. I think other than that, you'd want to be below 63% for continuous. And you can operate at continuous all day. Kyle Taylor, nice flying. Thanks, Skids Whole Shot. Cool. Cheers. Yeah, yeah. Overheated or just, I don't know, just went kaput in some way, shape or form. Alright guys, well thank you very much everyone that participated in the chat and everyone watching. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. There's a join button on the screen there, should be there just below the screen. Consider joining. Click on the join button and have a look at that. And consider supporting this channel and my efforts on Patreon. Also, I have a website. I'm writing articles there fairly regularly these days. Website's froggyfrog9000.com. So if you've got some time to kill, nothing better to do, check out my website. This is the Froggy Frog 9000 channel. That's been a live flight in a Bf109G-2. I'll probably do another one tomorrow night. Join me for that. Cheers guys, and bye for now.